once you have thought about what kind of dreamer you are, make sure that your self-portrait is colored in with your skin tone, your hair color, and coloring in your shirt or adding other details. Then use crayons to draw a couple of designs in the background about what kind of dreamer you are. So I wrote Sunshine Dreamer, and then I kind of drew a sun and some rays of sun coming out of it that I will then go over with my bleeding tissue paper. Just make sure that you push hard. You don't have to color anything in the background, but these designs will kind of be secret designs that come through after you put your bleeding tissue paper color on. When you go to get your bleeding tissue paper, choose the colors that are the kind of dreamer that you are. So I would probably choose like yellows and oranges and kind of get a few ready to go. And also get my water, get like maybe warm colors, and then I would get my water and my paintbrush. Your paintbrushes will be up on the stage in a gold container. Once you have all of that ready, you are welcome to start applying the bleeding tissue paper. Watch your next video to see how to use that bleeding tissue paper in the background of your Happy Dreamer self-portrait. Just a reminder, if your table is full and you maybe don't have space with all of your other friends around your table, you can set things down like your table sign or the crayons, anything. You can set them down on the ground to kind of get them out of the way when you are working. Also, as you're working, make sure not to pick up your self-portrait. Just leave it down on the table because it's going to start to get really wet and you don't want it to rip. The rest of the video will talk about how to use bleeding tissue paper. And bleeding tissue paper, when it gets wet, the colors of the bleeding tissue paper go onto the paper and they start to mix and kind of look tie-dye and kind of dreamlike, which is great since we're doing our Happy Dreamer self-portraits. So with that, you will start by just kind of deciding what colors you want to use that represent the kind of dreamer that you are. So you'll have some idea sheets on the different types of dreamers. Choose one or choose two or make up your own kind of dreamer that you are, and then decide what colors go along with that kind of dreamer. What does that remind you of? And that's what you'll choose for your background. So you will have a bin full of small pieces of bleeding tissue paper, and then you'll also have some larger pieces that you will use to cover larger areas of your background. And with these large pieces, you're going to tear them so that they fit on the background. So you might tear a few large pieces that will go onto your background of kind of the main color you would like to use on your Happy Dreamer self-portrait. So I kind of got my blue all ready to go. I'll set that aside for just a moment. Then, before you set your bleeding tissue paper on your paper, you're going to get it wet. There's a little bit of color on my paintbrush. You're going to get it wet just with water. So you're just painting water, and there shouldn't be color on your paintbrush. You're just painting water to get the background wet. You're doing it all the way down to the edge, but you don't want water on your self-portrait. So get close to it, but not too close. Okay, and that should take not very long at all. Okay, so then I will start to put those large pieces of bleeding tissue paper down. Again, being careful not to go over your self-portrait, but try to get close to it. Then when you start to add other colors, you want to overlap those other colors over top of your main color so that they will start to mix. So now I'm going to add some more colors over top with my smaller bin of tissue paper. And make sure when you grab colors that you only get one at a time. So right here I have like 3. Just take one at a time. Start to overlap them. See how I don't leave white space? Start to overlap them over top of each other so that those colors will then mix. You will go ahead and make sure that they're all stuck down. Miss W will come around with a spray bottle and get them to stick down even better for you. But you can also just use more water on your paintbrush. And even after I have sprayed yours down, or even if you're waiting for me, you can take your paintbrush with more water and just pull that color into any white spots that you have in your background, and also just kind of help push down that bleeding tissue paper so that it attaches, the color attaches to your paper. Your paintbrush is a great place to use close by your self-portrait so that you don't go over the line, but you get nice and close to it and to the edges of your paper. If you feel like you're done, you're going to start to peel up your tissue paper. You will just set this, once you peel it up, your fingers are going to get a little bit messy, but you'll just, ooh, that all came off nicely. You'll set it in a little pile on the edge of your messy mat. When you are done, do not bring it to the garbage. Miss W will bring a garbage around later on for you to throw that pile away. I will also call you to bring your artwork to the drying rack, so don't get up unless you are called on to do that. Do your best to get the tissue paper off, and you will want to be super careful not to rip your paper because there's quite a bit of water on it, and we don't want to wreck our self-portrait by ripping it. So we do need to be very gentle with that. When you are done, you'll want to kind of dab off your paintbrush, clean it out, and then again, you'll be called for where you need to go for cleanup and putting this onto the drying rack. Good luck with your Happy Dreamer self-portrait. I'm excited to see what colors you choose in your background and what types of dreamers you all are. Go ahead, finish coloring, draw things in your background, and then get your bleeding tissue paper, your water, and your paintbrush from the stage and get started. Good luck!